What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, listen, I want to talk about a story I missed last week, and this story right here is something else. Let me begin by saying this. You never know what people are going through. We can't read each other's minds, even though some people claim they can do that. I mean, let's keep it real. We can't. We don't know what another person's thinking or what another person's going through at the present time. That makes them do the things they do, regardless of how ridiculous it is. Today, I want to talk about a story out of Bayside, Queens, New York. Shout out Bayside, Queens. You know what I'm saying? And it's about a 79-year-old man that went into the 111 precinct out there in New York, pulled out a gun, and amid them trying to de-escalate the situation, he wouldn't drop the weapon and tragically lost his life. I don't know why anybody would do that type of stuff. But I mean, at 79 years old, a lot of people, you know, at that age have seen a lot and done a lot. Hell, I'm 52 years old and I've seen and done a lot myself. And he tragically lost his life. Here's the story, and we'll come back and talk about it a little bit. Check it out.
We begin with breaking news out of Bayside, Queens, where police say a man died after being shot by officers right in front of a police precinct.
Yeah, the NYPD just wrapped up a news conference. Our Eileen LaPalmer live there at the 111th precinct with new details for us tonight. Eileen.
Well, Corey and Shirley, you can see this is still a very active crime scene here. And here's what we know so far. Police say a 79-year-old man parked his car here in front of the precinct around 6:40 this evening, and then with a loaded handgun walked into the precinct. Cops say he refused to drop that loaded gun, and 4 officers opened fire. I'm going to step out of the way here so you can see what is in front of the precinct now. There are at least 10 evidence markers here on the ground. That's because police say this all happened in the vestibule, and those shots were actually fired from inside the precinct out by those 4 officers. Now, we did speak with people in the area. They heard the gunshots.
It sounded like fireworks, but at this point in time of the year, that couldn't be, so I kind of assumed it was gunshots. About 6, it sounded like in the distance, so it wasn't that loud, but it definitely was noticeable.
And at that news conference just a few minutes ago, police also showed a photo of what they say is that loaded revolver that the 79-year-old man had as he walked into there. They say that they are looking into whether or not he fired any shots, but we do know that 4 police officers did fire those shots, and we should have that sound from the NYPD also.
After the de-escalation techniques were unsuccessful, 4 officers discharged their firearms. The male was struck numerous times. A loaded Cobra .38 special firearm was recovered at the scene. Officers performed CPR on the male, and he was taken by EMS to New York Presbyterian Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased. The discharging officers were transported to an area hospital for evaluation. This incident is depicted on both body-worn camera and also the precinct security cameras.
And what is not known at this point is what was the motive. What did that 79-year-old man say to the officers when he walked into the precinct? Police say that is still part of the investigation as to what this all was about. But as you can see here, this is still the active crime scene. The shell casings and some evidence markers are out here. And it even appears that possibly one of the bullets flew across the street. Police are holding off an area over there where there is a shattered window across the street here as well. So a lot left in this investigation. We are live here in Bayside, Queens. Eileen LaPalmer, Pix 11 News.
All right, guys, that's the story of this 79-year-old man that seemed like he wanted the cops to take him out of here. Now, at 79 years old, you know, that's like Vietnam vet age. And not saying that has an implication in it, but I mean, sometimes people go through things, don't know what it was. It could have been mental illness, could have been, you know, he just didn't want to live no more. Or he might have lost a loved one that set him off. There's a story that just recently happened where a guy went and held people hostage and shot, I think, 5 or 6 people, including killing one cop at a hospital. out there in Pennsylvania, I think it was. And rumor has it, supposedly, one of his loved ones died in that hospital the day before, and he just snapped and went back in there and held people he thought accountable and took them hostage. Either way, man, the world is going to crap. It is. And you're starting to see it. You're starting to see people just offing their children, offing their loved ones, and then offing themselves. I don't understand why somebody would do that. I mean, if you get to the point where you want to take yourself out of here, why do you have to take innocent people with you? Now, I will say this. I'm looking at the comments on a couple of these videos, the same video, but like different news networks. And a lot of people are like, hey, you didn't have to shoot that guy. If the guy pulled the gun out in the police station, I'm more than sure he knew what was going to happen. So, I mean, in my opinion, this was a mission to no end. And I mean, that's just me. In the comment section, tell me what you think. That right there makes no sense. I mean, obviously he had something going on the way he didn't want to be here no more, or like mental illness or something. But I mean, they say he drove up there, went in there. Somebody said it was an officer at the desk in another story, and he just pulled the weapon out. But see, this is the reason why I say I think he planned on doing this just to get himself taken out of here, because at any given time he could have shot, but he didn't. And I don't know how long this whole thing took place, but they said 4 officers was out there, so it had to take at least 10 seconds. Somebody pulling a weapon and not using it immediately sound like it's a cry for help, or it's just a cry period, a war cry, whatever. But either way, the man's gone. And like this story and other stories like this that have you scratching your head, they'll move on to the next one, because there's always something to take place of this. Something radical needs to happen in this country as far as crime and people doing a lot of behavior that normal people don't think about. Like, I'll give you an example. You're starting to see more and more school shootings, mass shootings, things like this. This country's in chaos, and it's like people try to look at it with blinders on like it's not happening. If you look at crime 20 years ago, some of the crimes that are normal and commonplace today that they're trying to have us be desensitized to, and a lot of us are, were unheard of. It's like as technology is getting better, human beings are getting worse. And not just in America, all over the place. I don't understand what's happening. I don't. And I think about this every day. You know, I can't change the world. I just got a platform that I use to talk about things I'm passionate about, and stuff like this I'm passionate about. Nobody wants to see human beings self-destruct. They don't. And it's depressing doing these stories, and it's sad, but I mean, it's a reality that we have to talk about. We have to talk about. The worst enemy that you have is the one that faces you in the mirror every day. Anybody can fall victim to despair, depression, so on and so forth. But part of you has to help yourself get out of that hole, and it takes taking that first step, whether it's searching for help or anything like that. I mean, at 79 years old, you know, I wonder what made him do this, or made it to where he felt like he didn't want to be here no more. That's the thing. There's a lot of beauty in this world. But I mean, sometimes people get to the point where they get so overshadowed by overcast in the mind that they don't even care if they're going to get out of it. I remember when I was younger, somebody asked my grandfather was upset about something. And one of his friends said, "Hey, John, you all right?" He said, "Well, I ain't got no choice. I ain't got no choice to be all, it's going to be all right regardless. I ain't got no choice. I can't dwell on." A lot of people can't get out of their own heads, and you see it today in a lot of crimes, and a lot of crimes of passion, so on and so forth. It's like for some reason we've lost our way to where we're wallowing in our own mire, or, you know, just we don't want to move forward because we've been compiled with all types of stuff to where we feel like the weight is too heavy and we don't want to carry it no more. And things like this happen. It's a shame. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.